Alright, this is a test of the RoleMaster Unified RPG system for Foundry Virtual Tabletop by Bob Morris. What I've got here, as you can see, are 4 player characters. This is Bob. He's a paladin. This is Nathan. He's a warrior monk. Dano is a rogue. And the magician is a magician. I basically just made a couple of level 1 test characters, and I was naming them after future players, and then I decided to start naming them by class, hence why magician is magician. That being said, I have made a level 4 Serration soldier for them to fight. This is prep work for an upcoming campaign called Sword and Crescent, where the players will be playing wannabe/would-be Crusader soldiers going off to the Crusades. And it is a historical dark fantasy setting, so there are going to be monsters and myth and stuff like that for them to navigate as well. But initially, they're going to be dealing with like normal mortal human foes and whatnot. So I'm just kind of testing the system out. That being said, we are going to start a fight. I'm going to try to explain my understanding of the RoleMaster Unified rules when it comes to combat. It is not like D&D or Pathfinder, excuse me, where you get like 1 or 2 actions or 3 actions, and you do it, and then you go to the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and then when you're done, you go to the next round. They actually do, you get action points, and you get action phases within a 5-second round. So each round is 5 seconds, and there are 4 action phases in which you can do things like move, attack, cast a spell, and all of those things require 1 to 4 action points. Alright, so we got it so far. I've selected all my people. I'm now going to initiate combat. Just for shits and giggles, this is a Forgotten Adventures map. I believe it's called like the Ruined Temple or Ruined Cathedral. And I've got some special effects going on for a thunderstorm that's occurring outside, which if I turned the roof off, but yeah, you can put the roof back on, and that's what it looks like with the roof on, and it's all rainy. You can see, and there's a thunderstorm above it. Alright, that being said, we'll get back to this. Okay, so upon initiating combat, which I did when I selected everybody, right-click, and click this little sword and shield thing down here, toggle combat state. Upon doing that, on the right side, it took me over here, where this is the initiative test. So I'm just going to roll for all, because this is just me doing it. So a bunch of D10s go out there, and yes, in case you're wondering, RoleMaster is like exclusively a D10 or D100 system. So, that being said, we now have everybody's thing, so we're going to begin the encounter. Now, I'm going to move to have the chat up. I'm going to clear chat so you guys will see clearly all the shenanigans. Okay, so Bob here won. Now I'm going to refresh myself. Bob's base movement rate is 23 feet around, so Bob can use an action point to move that. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And that is 1 action point. See how it says round 1, phase 1 of 4. Spend 1 action point per phase. So that's what we're looking at. Then we got Nathan. He's going to do the same thing. Basically, everybody's got 20 feet to move. 3 and 4. And that's because nobody's wearing a lot of heavy equipment. This game does track encumbrance. It tracks all sorts of things, which was one of the reasons why RoleMaster in the flesh, like old school RoleMaster at a table, was called Chartmaster, and it was like a lot of people ridiculed it because it was overly complex. This virtual tabletop RoleMaster Unified set uses streamlined rules, and the computer handles a lot of the math and chunky bits, so you can just really get into the nitty-gritty. Alright, so Nathan has moved. Now we're going to have our Serration Soldier. Now the Serration Soldier is a level 4 monster, so this is going to be a challenge, and I've got a character over here, and I've got a character over here. They're looking to flank him. So he has to decide who he's going to attack. Now, the last time I ran this, he went over here and got promptly killed. So I'm going to try to go this way. Now, why can't he go any other direction? Well, if I turn on my wall controls, you can see that these are walls that inhibit his movement, and these are also walls that inhibit his movement. So this is like a step down. So this is a dais or a elevated spot. So he would actually have to like jump down here, which move plus a jump would be 2 action points. So I can move for 1 round. I could jump if I want the second round, so I could jump down here if I wanted to. But I'm going to keep it a little more simple, a little less tactile in this case, or tactical in this case. And he is just going to move over here. And then I'm going to freely rotate him so he's looking at his foes. All right, that is it for him. Now, I have a magician, but at really low levels, RoleMaster Unified, and just RoleMaster in general, low-level wizards can't really do a whole lot. So I have a couple of spell lists here, and these don't really show the spells that are prepared and whatnot. So I have this thing called Argon. So if I click this, I gotta move this in here a little bit. This is like a quick rundown of the character, and it gives you all sorts of information here, base movement 23, etc., etc. And then you can look at macros and other stuff, but I don't have any of that stuff set up. So if I wanted to cast a spell, I click on him to target, hit T to target. And if I had it, I click on this and it gives me my spells. So I've got Fire Law, Ice Law, Elemental Shields, and Invisible Ways. So let's click on this and it gives me Boiling Heat. For each level of caster spell, 1 cubic foot of liquid can be heated up to a boiling rate of 1 cubic foot per round. Okay, obviously I can't use that to like boil his blood. That'd be kind of cool, but it's like a level 1 super simple thing. And then Warm Solid is any solid inanimate non-metal material can be warmed up to 100 degrees. Okay, that could be really useful. I've got a range of 10. He's more than 10 feet away, so I'm not going to really use that. I'm going to play around with his elemental shields. Target is totally protected from all natural light. Plus 10 to all resistance rolls DBs versus elemental light. Okay, so that's kind of useless. What about Invisible Ways? Transparency. Single inanimate object is made nearly invisible. This is where the single object is made invisible. So again, these are like level 1, level 2. I think I made the mage level 2. No, he is level 1. So yeah, they really don't have a lot of like combat-worthy spells and stuff. Alright, so yeah, the mage, really at level 1, he's going to be like a, I don't want to say useless, but he's not going to be a frontline fighter, and he's not casting a lot of spells, necessarily. And it might have been that I made the character poorly, I just kind of whipped him up real quickly, I didn't really look into it, so it's entirely possible that a level 1 mage can be a little bit more useful if made better. Anyway, that being said, he does plan on moving though. So he's going to 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's going to kind of back up Nathan here. And so that's his 1. Now we go to Dano. Well, having seen the guy move over here, Dano is then going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4. So he's hoping to position himself to fight the Serration. Now we go to the second phase of round 1. See how it says right up here, phase 2 of 4. Alright, so Bob now, he's kind of committed. He's going to come around and try to attack this guy from the rear. So he has to move 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now he's used 2 action points total. I got to keep that in mind because he only has 4. Later on, through spells and other things, you might get more action points. You might be able to spend more than 1 action point per phase. But just baseline level 1 beginning character without a lot of special shit, you get 1 action point per round. Or per phase. I gotta get used to that. Alright, then we have Nathan. So, he is going to move and then face the guy. And that is it for him. Now, yeah, I think that's it for him. Okay, so Serration here, he's going to face his opponent, target his opponent, and again, using this Argon module, I can make an attack. Now, he is going to swing pretty hard because he's a level 4 creature. So he has plus 40. He's a combat specialist for the scimitar, so this could go badly really quickly. Upon clicking the attack, I get the attack window that comes up. I basically have to look at all the stuff here. So it's a melee attack, scimitar, that stuff's kind of standard. If there were any special maneuvers, a fatigue modifier, or if I wanted to make a called shot, I'd change that here. I'm doing a single attack. You could do up to 6 attacks, I guess, and that would just suck. My foe is not stunned or surprised or flat-footed. There's no special positioning stuff, flanking attack, rear attack, or if you're attacking your flank or rear. These are negatives and positives, but they're important to keep track of. He's not attacking with a two-handed weapon, and he's not attacking from prone. There are no additional modifiers, there's no size modifier, so this is a straight, normal roll. Now, once combat happens and people start bleeding and bones are broken and Achilles' heels are sliced and people are prone, these things change. Once you're stunned, you're staggered, etc., this stuff starts to change. And a lot of this is automated, but you do have to kind of pay attention to like your positional stuff. Alrighty, let's go. Let's see what happens. Here's the first roll of the combat. 41 plus is 40, minus 22. What's the minus 22 from? Oh, the defender's defensive bonus is minus 22, so it automatically calculates that in there as well. So that's a miss. That is awesome for Nathan. Not so awesome for the Serration Soldier, who's about to get surrounded and destroyed. Alright, so the Magician, he's going to go 1, 2, and we're going to call that it for him. Again, it's move, it's one action point. I did read up a little bit because I'm learning the new RoleMaster rules at the same time while I'm experimenting with this. There are situations where you can move and use an action point as part of the movement. So like if maybe if you're charging with a sword, you can attack somebody. In this case, he's charging with his fists. But I haven't really read up on that yet, so I'm just treating these things, I'm separating them out as like move as an action point, attack as an action point. Let's go. Alright, so that's it for him. And now we have Dano, who is going to 1, 2, 3, that's 15 feet of his 20 per action point. And now we go here. Okay, we have Bob. He's going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now our little Serration Soldier is kind of flanked and or surrounded. So this is going to turn ugly for him really fast. Now here we got Nathan. He's going to target. We're going to click our... Wait, is Nathan the monk? Yeah, he's the warrior monk. Okay, so he's not going to stab. He's going to do a natural... I'm going to actually try and sweep and throw him so I can knock him down. Because surrounded, prone, it really sucks for the guy who's surrounded and prone. So we'll try that. Now, he is currently flanked. So it's plus 15 there. There's no movement penalty. Oh, I have spent 2. This is important. So when you're attacking, you need to do this. I forgot to do it with the Serration Soldier. My bad. You basically have to subtract the total number of action points you've used so far, and it applies a penalty. So, like if you're standing still and you're just toe-to-toe, you're going to be, round 1 you're going to attack and you're going to blow your whole wad. You're not going to do anything else for the rest of the phases. And then once everybody's done with phases, once everybody's out of action points, you just go to the next round anyway. It doesn't matter if you're in like round 2 or phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 1. If everybody took their shot and are out of action points, you can just skip to the next round. And again, that round and action phase verbiage is going to be a little confusing for people. It's obviously confusing for myself a little bit. Pace penalty, they technically walked, but they didn't walk this round. I don't know if that applies, so I'm just going to keep that because I don't want to just apply a bunch of negatives and screw everybody over. I do want to show some pretty hard-hitting hits. Okay, so he's flanked, so it's plus 15, but I did use 2 action points, so I'm kind of like hurriedly stabbing real quick. I'm not taking my time with it. Let's see what happens. Okay, roll. 86. That's a good, solid beginning hit. So let's look up here. It's a sweeps and throw, right? So it's attacker's offensive bonus is 45. So it's my roll plus 45 minus the defensive bonus of 5, right? So that's not bad. Against a Armor type 2. He's wearing cloth, like light cloth. Alright, so this right here tells us I struck him in the head on the right side, one hit, and it was a critical. So then we go down here. It was a critical B. Armbar to the neck sends foe staggering 10 feet in the direction of your choice, coughing, having problems breathing until he can rest. I don't think I'm going to move him much because I don't think I can stagger him this way, and he's not going to stagger into another player. So he is going to suffer all of these penalties plus this stuff when I click apply damage. Before I apply damage, we're going to bring him up so you can see this. 65 hit points, blah, blah, blah. And then conditions. This is a really important part of the character sheet. This breaks down all your injury penalties, movement penalties, stun penalties, etc. Staggered, prone, and then down here, your various injuries and effects. So let's try this out and see what happens. Bam. Okay, you automatically see his initiative went down to -11. He's fatigued, stunned. He's at -115, and he is stunned for 1 round. So this should with a -75. So that's where that stunned is. You know, this goes to this, right? So he's also staggered. He doesn't have any critical wounds, but his combat effectiveness has been greatly affected. And that is it for Nathan. Serration Soldier. Okay, so staggered, etc. I'm not sure exactly what he thinks he can do. I think I'm going to raise my shield. Oh, can't raise my shield that way. Not really sure what else he can do. Alrighty, so the Magician is up. Now the Magician, he's moving this round. He's going to punch a guy. So we're going to go like this. He's going to punch. Now, he also spent 2 movement points, so there's that. It's a stunned foe. He is flanking. I think that's about it. Alright, let's go. Let's see what happens. Alright, 34. It's probably not going to hit. Oh, it does. So it's a strike. Leg, right side. It's a crit. Battered foe's leg, bruising and other minor injuries to add up, causing major discomfort to foe as he draws back 5 feet. Okay, so he might actually stagger back this time because just angle-wise, positionally, that might work. And that actually kind of applies to him. So, we have a couple of, if you look at the character sheet, you've got a couple of little warning things that pop up. Let's look and see. Okay, so he's just, that negative is just building up. He's staggered. Still no major hits here. No permanent injuries. But yeah, he's going to stagger 5 feet. We're going to spin him around, though, because he staggers up the stairs from the punch. And then that makes it Dano. Unfortunately, Dano's got to move. But if I move him just to right here, I then block out Nate's ability. So I'm going to move Dano. Oh, I can't move Dano. Why not? I don't think it wants me to move Dano. I'm going to move Dano right here. I'm not sure if that's a legit move. I don't know if it's telling me like I can't. I'm out of action points or movement points or whatever. Maybe I moved too much in a round. I don't know. But I want to do this to kind of speed up the play. Now, here's Bob. Bob, we're on action 4, so Bob is going to attack. But remember, he has spent 3 action points against a stunned foe. He is flanking. Hoping this pays off. Let's see what happens. 87. This is probably going to be good. Okay, so it does have a puncture. It does hit with his dagger. Head, left side. Thrust into spine does damage to nerve. So that's got to be like it says head, but like clearly it's top of neck kind of shit. So this is an additional plus 17. More, just stuff piles up. You can see here we are at the end of round 1, and our Serration Soldier is just getting the crap kicked out of him. So he's got 16 hit points left. So you can die from just concussive hits, but you also have right here an injury, hit location, effect. You know, severity light, thrust to spine, does damage to nerves. So he is having a bad frickin' day. is the top of the round, but the fun part is Nathan and the Magician are out of position to attack him. However, he does have Dano at the back and the last player for the round. Alright, so Nathan, we're going to move him. I have a feeling the game is telling me I can't move because I used all my movement. I'll have to figure. I'm assuming I'm breaking some rule, but I want to position people in. Alright, and then our buddy the mage, our buddy the Serration Soldier. I think I'm going to target Bob, and we're going to see what happens with my. So I have a plus 40, but I have a buttload of negatives, right? And this is also. I got to remember to do this with him. Stunned foe, surprise foe, flat-footed, positional. No, he's attacking in front of him. It's very important to note this game does want you to focus on facing. So you have, I'm making a flanking attack, or I'm attacking to my flank. So if I'm attacking the other guy who's to my left or right, you do have to pay attention to which way your model or token is facing, and you would need to factor that in, because if you're attacking behind you, there's a penalty. There isn't like a free assumption that you can spin around as a free action in this game. Very important to keep in mind. It really ups the tactical level, and it really adds a level of brutal realism to the game. Alright, that being said, let's see what happens with this roll. Ooh, that's not going to... Yeah, that's a miss. So, it's a 20, plus his offensive bonus, plus all his negatives. He's like, yeah, that's a really bad miss. You might be going like, oh, but it's a negative 122. Why isn't that a fumble? Because in this game, your various weapons that you use have a fumble scale. Let's say it's like, and it depends on each weapon, but it's like usually between 1 and 5. So if you roll a 0-1, that's a fumble, right? It might break your weapon. There are all sorts of crazy, funny shenanigans that can happen. But he actually rolled above that, but because of his penalties, has a negative 122. It's also the end of the round. He's really running out of options. I think might not survive. That being said, our mage is going to move forward using his last action point, and that takes us to Dano. Dano is going to target the Serration. Saracen? I think it's Saracen. I think I've been mispronouncing it. Anyway, and he's going to attack him with a short sword from the back. So, it automatically puts rear attack in there. Alright, now I need to make sure I've used that, because it's got to subtract. So 30, 40, 50, 55 minus 75, so it's a minus 20 total. So I want to see a really high roll, right? Let's see what happens. $83. Okay, that is a crit. So short sword does 30. See, point passes through cheek. Foe spits up blood. Foe cannot speak clearly until bleeding is stopped. So there's more damage. Alright, so we're going to bring up our Serration Soldier because we want to watch this, because this is going to be... Yeah, I can confirm he is not going to survive that just on hits alone, but we'll watch this whole thing. So keep in mind he's got negative 175. If he's not grappled, that's an important thing. That's an important tactic. So if you've got like a warrior monk or a fist fighter, and you really want to help people, grapple your opponent, because the next person attacking, like, it's a huge maneuver penalty basically, right? It's just stacking maneuver penalties, injury penalties, and stun penalties. How those stack up kind of just sets the stage for how quickly you're going to win a fight or lose a fight. That being said, look down here, injuries, head. This is still here now. When I hit apply damage, bam, point blast through. So it stacks up all of them. So the medium through cheek, blah blah blah. Okay, you look over here. He's at negative 17. He is defeated. And then over here is portfolio. Yeah, he's dead. Now that being said, we're at the end of the round, right? And we're going to go ahead and just end the fight because he's done. Now, this is a loot table thing. It's It's a module that I kind of automatically put in here. Um, it just basically takes all the stuff that's on a character sheet and puts it up as loot, which obviously is going to be a problem when it starts putting creature talents and abilities out there. So I might just have to figure that out. But that's for me for later. And I would click new lootable. It would put something on the ground for the party to loot. So obviously, like the scimitar, short sword, his heavy cloth, his target shield. Those are things you could actually loot on the arrows. The rest of this, not so much. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm not going to make it just yet. I could also add money if I wanted to. So I can go like calculate gold based on the challenge rating. Calculate gold. Alright, so probably this system, I probably have to find something that's a little bit more RoleMaster compliant or friendly for that. But that being said, we're going to close this. You can see right here, he is dead. The only other thing I would do is toggle his visibility state. We're going to turn that off for him. There's some cool modules that add like blood special effects and bones and stuff like that, and I might put those in there just so we have some visuals. There's also some stuff that will automatically make the defeated monster fade out like this, so like the players no longer can see him. Me as a GM, I can see him, but he's kind of ghostly. Player-wise, he's disappeared. And yeah, there's some modules that will automatically do that, and there's some settings that will automatically do that. But that is an example of the RoleMaster Unified combat. Obviously, this is a 4-on-1 fight, and if I had 2 or 3 of these level 4 monsters to fight the party, it probably would have gone entirely different because it's a much higher level monster. But as you can see, tactics such as surrounding, flanking, etc. really adds up. So even like a level 1 party can start to feel like badasses. Like basically it's a 4-on-1 fight, so I mean, how badass do you feel? But you can actually see how implementing these tactics, positioning, surrounding, I mentioned grappling, let alone like if you sweep and throw, like you throw somebody on the ground and everybody's surrounding them, you just beat the crap out of them. It's really effective. Anyway, that being said, that is it for now. I will see you guys next time.